What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Pathfinder Prototypes. This episode, Captain America. Stephen Rogers was born in 1920 in New York City to poor Irish immigrants. His parents both passed away before he reached adulthood, but he was fortunate enough to be able to go to college to study fine arts. It was around this time that World War II kicked off, and disturbed by the effects of the war, he attempted to enlist for the U.S. Army, but was rejected due to having a frail body. He didn't give up, however, and his determination earned him the notice of U.S. Army General Chester Phillips, who was in charge of Project Rebirth. Rogers subjected himself to the experimentation of a special serum that had the potential to create a super soldier from such a scrawny person. The serum was a success and transformed Steve Rogers into a nearly perfect specimen of humanity with peak strength, agility, stamina, and intelligence. After the destruction of the Super Soldier Project by Nazi spies, Rogers is given the moniker Captain America and becomes a force for liberty and justice. During a mission in April 1945, Captain America is thrown from an exploding plane and is frozen in the waters of the North Atlantic, but due to the modifications of the Super Soldier Serum, he doesn't die from the cold and is discovered many years later. He is thawed by S.H.I.E.L.D. and takes up the role of the leader of the Avengers. This build is possible thanks to a few specific items and interactions very thoughtfully granted to us by the awesome developers at Paizo. They know what we want, and they deliver. Something to keep in mind as we progress. If you're looking for a max DPS build, this ain't it, Chief. This build focuses on enemy disruption and playing out the fantasy of a shield-throwing super soldier. I'm excited to share this build, so let's get started. To start off the build, naturally, we'll take the human ancestry, selecting the versatile heritage in order to gain the toughness general feat from level 1. For our background, we'll pick the resistant skin variant of magical experiment. This is a rare background, so be sure to clear it with your GM first. Alternatively, you can take martial disciple or warrior and be just fine. Finally, our class will be fighter. Due to our background, we actually miss out on one of our ability score boosts, but we get resistance to 2 energy damage types equal to half our level to make up for it. Our starting ability scores are 16 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 12 Wisdom, and 10 Charisma. Captain America's lore extols him as a nearly perfect human, but unfortunately Pathfinder doesn't allow for perfect characters. We'll just have to be okay with that. For our level 1 class feat, we'll take Reactive Shield, allowing us to raise our shield as a reaction if we are unable to do so on our turn. For our Ancestry feat, we'll pick Natural Ambition, granting us a second class feat at level 1, which we'll use to pick up the Sudden Charge feat. For skills, Acrobatics, Athletics, and Diplomacy are must-haves. As you progress through this build, you will want to invest heavily in your shield, and upgrade it at every given opportunity. Make sure to pick up the Throwing Shield attachment for your shield so you can throw it as well. At level 2, we'll pick up the Aggressive Block class feat, making it so that when we use the shield block reaction, if the enemy that hits us is our size or smaller, they have to choose to either be shoved 5 feet or fall prone. Very nasty. We'll also pick up the Titan Wrestler skill feat, allowing us to grapple, trip, and shove enemies up to 2 sizes larger than us. At 3rd level, for our skill increase, we'll boost Athletics. We'll take the Fleet General feat in order to increase our speed, and we get the Bravery class feature, giving a lot of resistance to effects that would cause us to become frightened. At 4th level, we'll take the Powerful Shove class feat, allowing us to use Aggressive Block against foes up to 2 sizes larger, as well as causing them to take damage equal to our Strength modifier if their forced movement is blocked by an object. The damage happens regardless of how we shove the creature. For our skill feat, we'll pick up Powerful Leap, allowing us to jump greater distances. For our first set of ability boosts at level 5, we'll boost Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom to enhance our resilience and ability to disrupt enemies. For our skill increase, we'll pick Acrobatics. We'll take the Sense Allies Ancestry feat, allowing us to automatically detect willing allies who are nearby. For our Fighter Weapon Mastery, we'll choose the Shield Weapon group. At level 6, we'll pick up the Ricochet Stance class feat, allowing us to enter a stance that causes our thrown shield to automatically bounce back to us as long as we are within its first range increment. Additionally, we'll take the Quick Jump skill feat, allowing us to conserve an action when we take the long or high jump action. At 7th level, we'll boost our Athletics skill to Master and pick up the Feather Step General feat to allow for better repositioning in all types of terrain. The Battlefield Surveyor boosts our Perception proficiency and also grants us a permanent +2 to initiative when we use Perception. Weapon Specialization grants us a little extra flat damage on our weapon strikes based on our proficiency. At level 8, we'll take the Quick Shield Block class feat, which gives us an extra reaction that we can only use to shield block. For our skill feat, we'll pick Catfall, since those superhero landings are always so hard on the knees. At 9th level, we'll boost our acrobatics skill to Master, and we'll pick up the Group Aid Ancestry feat, which allows us to use the same aid action to aid all of our allies within the same round without needing to spend more actions, as long as the action being aided does not have the attack trait. We also gain the Combat Flexibility class feature, which allows us to select an additional fighter class feat of 8th level or below that we can change during our daily preparations. Reflexive Shield will be our go-to for most days, but feel free to swap this one out based on preference or circumstances. Juggernaut increases our fort save proficiency, as well as causing us to treat successful fort saves as if they were critical successes. For our second set of ability boosts at level 10, we will once again boost Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom. For our class feat, we'll choose Mirror Shield, which allows us to reflect spells that require an attack roll if they critically fail against our AC. The Kip Up skill feat allows us to get up from prone as a free action and without provoking attacks of opportunity. This is quite possibly one of the top 5 skill feats in the game for martial characters. If you can take it, you probably should. At level 11, we'll boost our Diplomacy skill to Expert, and we'll pick up the Die Hard General feat, causing us to die on dying 5 rather than dying 4, as well as reducing the DC of our recovery checks by 1. Armor Expertise and Fighter Expertise increase our proficiency with all armor and our class DC respectively. At 12th level, we'll pick up the Flinging Shove class feat, which doubles the amount of forced movement when we shove an enemy, and also allows us to choose the result of an aggressive block rather than the opponent. The Rapid Mantle skill feat saves us some action economy by allowing us to mantle up and stand as part of a grab and edge action. This also lets us use our athletics skill rather than our reflex save if that's higher. At level 13, we'll boost our Diplomacy skill to Master and pick up the Bounce Back Ancestry feat, which lets us ignore the wounded condition once per day. We also gain legendary proficiency in shields thanks to our Weapon Legend class feature. At 14th level, we'll pick up the Determination class feat, allowing us to shrug off non-permanent conditions as well as spell effects. If we choose to end a spell effect, we must succeed at a counteract check against the spell, using our will save as the counteract skill. I would love to pick up Stance Savant here, but Determination is just so much more useful. The Shameless Request skill feat allows us to make outrageous requests of NPCs without hurting our reputation. For our penultimate set of ability boosts, we'll yet again boost Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom. We'll increase our Athletics proficiency to Master, and we'll pick up the Fast Recovery General feat, making it a lot easier to recover from diseases and poisons, as well as gaining twice the normal HP when long resting. From our Improved Flexibility class feature, we'll pick up the Combat Reflexes class feat, which grants us an extra reaction at the start of our turn that we can use only for attacks of opportunity. A strong alternative here is to take Stance Savant instead. Evasion increases our reflex save proficiency and causes successful saves to be treated as 1 degree better, and greater weapon specialization grants us even more flat damage on attacks. At level 16, you will likely want to retrain Quick Shield Block at level 8 to exchange it for having the Reflexive Shield feat permanently so that we can take Improved Reflexive Shield at level 16. This would allow for us to protect our allies from damage involving an effect with a reflex save. For our skill feat, we'll pick Cloud Jump so that we can jump impossible distances almost effortlessly. At 17th level, we'll boost our Diplomacy skill to Legendary and pick up the Heroic Presence Ancestry feat to allow us to boost our nearby allies in battle. Armor Mastery increases our armor proficiency yet again. At level 18, we'll pick up the Savage Critical class feat, causing our attack rolls to be treated as critical hits when we roll a 19 on the d20. The Legendary Negotiation skill feat allows us to entreat our foes to negotiate rather than fighting. At 19th level, we'll boost our Acrobatics skill to Legendary and pick up the Untrained Improvisation General feat, allowing us to add our level to our untrained skill checks. We are still unable to take trained or higher skill actions though. The Versatile Legend class feature increases our proficiency with all unarmed strikes, simple, and martial weapons to Legendary, and our proficiency with advanced weapons to Master. Our Fighter class DC also increases to Master. For our final set of ability boosts, we'll change things up a bit and boost Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, and Charisma. For our Capstone class feat, we'll take Boundless Reprisals, granting us an additional reaction at the start of every enemy's turn that we can use only to make an attack of opportunity. This allows us to drop Combat Reflexes at level 15 in favor of some other feat. We'll also take Battle Medicine as our final skill feat. And there you have it. This is my take on how to play Captain America in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I have to say, this build was uniquely challenging to put together due to the rules revolving around shields being obscure and a bit obtuse, but I like to think I nailed it. Some things to note: you cannot apply potency runes to a shield to increase AC, but the throwing shield modification allows you to inscribe runes to increase the potency of the shield for the purpose of making strikes with it. Also, feel free to add a light hammer weapon to the build and call it Mjolnir if you're a big fan of the MCU Captain America. For free archetype and dual class variants, I would go Champion and or Bastion as your choice here for even more shield shenanigans. Alternatively, you could take the Martial archetype to enhance your leadership abilities. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video entertaining and informative. If you like what you see, drop us a like and hit that subscribe button for more build ideas as well as PvP content and podcasts. We've got a lot of cool stuff in the works, so ring that bell so you don't miss any of it. See you next week.